The 2025 film season has pretty much come to an end with the start of 2026, and I've already done my top 10 list of the year, so please go check that out. But I thought I'd do something positive. I don't do worst of lists because I don't think that spreads positivity, and there's enough people bashing on movies as it is. So, what I opt to do is I'm going to do a five movie recommendations from 2025 that I think you should all kind of check out. It's not going to be a ranked list in any way, it's just five movies that I think are unique enough and bold enough that people should check out. And who knows, it might surprise you and become one of your favorite movies as well. Some of these movies I've talked about and done reviews for, some of them I've seen and didn't really talk about, and some of them even are included in my top 10 of the end year list. So if you want to hear more in-depth discussions about those films, go check it out. Sister Midnight is a movie that I didn't know much going into it. I just saw a little bit of the trailers for it, and I saw that it was getting good reviews. And it has Radhika Apte, who is a really great Indian actress. I thought I was going to be in for something scary and surreal and horrifying, but what I got was something that was scary, surreal, and horrifying, but also quirky and fun and unapologetically crazy. This is if Wes Anderson did a horror film, and this is the results of it. It's fun, it's quirky, it has scary elements to it, and it really delves into domestic life and if everybody is suited for it or not, or you should, make your own. There's also a really fun little love story there too. A recent release, and it's not doing too hot at the box office, is this thing on, directed by Bradley Cooper. This is very much different from what Bradley Cooper normally does. It's a fun, adult, mature romantic comedy that delves into themes of open communication and sort of a coming of age story of adults in relationships that seem to be kind of on the rocks or about to end, and for no real good reason aside from them drifting apart. But how do you reconnect? How do you find that center again? And is this relationship even worth saving? So this is a really good job of exploring that relationship in a mature, fun, entertaining, and even some emotional ways. I can, for the life of me, not understand why more people have not seen Black Bag. This is such a fun, entertaining, sexy, sleek, well executed thriller that is also a very fun date night movie. It explores the relationships of the two leads, Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett. It has a really cool spy versus spy themes. It's how things about infidelity, lying, and going behind your partner's back, about open communication. There is a lot in here, and Steven Soderbergh does a phenomenal job. Please go check it out. It's on Peacock, and I think it's also on like Prime Video or something. If you love movies about people making movies, Superboys of Malagao is a heartfelt, endearing film about a bunch of friends that come together to make films in their neighborhood town to create something unique and special that tells the stories about the people in the town itself of Mulligan. It just shows the beauty of the creative process and how important each element is to creating something special and creating something with unique voices, and that these voices need to be heard, and sometimes the only way to do it is to do it yourself. And having said that, these big movie studios, not just locally in Hollywood or whatever, but abroad and all over the world, need to give smaller filmmakers a chance, people from smaller towns, because they have really unique voices and unique stories to tell. And this explores that in such a beautiful and endearing way with some great performances and a really tear-jerking ending. And last but not least, I want to recommend Twinless. This movie is just so funny, so charming, so endearing. A real surprise. I went in to expect this really heart-wrenching, tear-jerking kind of film, and got something surprisingly haunting and fun, and a platonic friendship that you don't usually see on film, and it's just done such a beautiful way. There are some amazing shots in this movie. The more you think about this movie at least the more I thought about this movie after I saw it, the more I loved it, the more I love the performances from Dylan O'Brien. James Sweeney, who I think directs this film as well, does a really good job. And there's a lot of interesting things that they talk about. I don't have a twin, but losing your friend or a brother or something like that can be hard, and that feels like you're losing your other half. Knowing twins losing their other halves, and then that codependency that they're kind of in, and not feeling whole again. But this movie explores that in such a fun, interesting way. It goes places that I didn't think it was going to go, and we're more better off for it. And if you haven't seen it, check out Twinless. I believe it's playing on Hulu. but you will not be disappointed with this one. What the heck? I was only going to do 5 recommendations, but here's a few more. Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain. This is a beautifully well hand-drawn film about generational trauma and whether the sins of the past generation should be forced upon the current generations, how to deal with your emotions. It's just such a beautifully well hand-drawn movie, and people always complain there's not enough hand-drawn movies, but when things like this come out in theaters, you guys don't support it. Another beautiful movie, Kiss of the Spider Woman. Great performances from Jennifer Lopez, Diego Luna, and Tanatoa. Specifically, this movie is a throwback to classic 1950s Hollywood musicals, and it just does a beautiful job of exploring that, and also how we use film as an escape for the tragedies in life, and how it can be a tool, but it can also be a detriment when you're using that to escape from the harsh realities and not doing anything about it because you're living inside your own bubble. But check this movie out. It didn't do hot at the box office, but it is a wonderful, well made production. Here's one more that didn't do too hot at the box office, considering the cast is stacked with Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst, Lakeith Stanfield, and a few other people, and it didn't do well at the box office. This movie, Roofman, is so good. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's endearing, it's heartfelt. It's a time capsule of that era, and it just kind of took me back to that early 2000s, mid 2000s era when I was, in my youth, and I really enjoyed the references, the throwbacks, but the heart of it, the performances and the cast and the storytelling. So those are some of my recommendations from last year, and I want to leave you guys with this. Watch more movies, explore more movies. There's a lot of stories out there. Don't watch just a few handful things. You won't really appreciate the vast majority of stories that are out there, and you won't know what you really love until you actually see it. There are things that I didn't know I was going to enjoy as much as I did, things that I was dreading going to see in theaters, but surprised and happy that I did. Movies are a beautiful medium. It unites us all. It tells stories that we normally wouldn't hear. And yes, it dramatizes it, but it's fun, it's entertaining, and there's a lot of things that you see and connect with. And it builds your literacy and, more importantly, your empathy.